Your Humanities Half Hour is brought to you by the Northern Marianas Humanities Council.
Day, Zantiro. Welcome to Your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry. And our guest today is Dr. Zaidul Sarker. He's the state program leader of the food service program under Northern Marianas College Cooperative Research Extension and Education Services, known to most of us as NMC CREASE. Dr. Sarker, thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Catherine. Good morning.
Well, we've been trying to get this interview for a while. You've been kind of busy in the laboratory, but maybe you can start us off. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You're new to Saipan, and how did you end up here?
Hi, Catherine. In fact, I came here in August last year. It's about 1 year. I really love these people in island, to work with island people here. We have a small community, but people are very friendly here. And I'm encouraged to work here when I get full support to establish a laboratory here. That make me encouraged to work in this island, in the territory CNMI.
And we're going to talk about that project that is so exciting. We're talking today about food science research, you're a food scientist, and what that might mean also for the economic development of the CNMI. Just as a reminder, can you give us a little idea of what is the overall purpose of NMC CREASE?
Hi, NMC, Northern Marianas College, Cooperative Research, Extension and Education Services, NMC CREASE, overall serving to the CNMI community within the program, within few programs, including agricultural production, family, community, and youth development, nutrition and health, aquaculture and natural resource, and newly introduced food science program.
I think what's so exciting about this particular project we're talking about today under CREASE is not only is it like modern food science, but it focuses on something that's very much an important part of our local culture, which is breadfruit and tuber crops. But start us off with, and congratulations again, this $3.4 million grant that you guys have received. What is the purpose of this grant?
Well, the purpose of this grant to diversify our local produces that are produced by CNMI farmers, like tuber crops, taro, cassava, sweet potato, and we have huge breadfruit. So we can utilize our local crops to produce and to formulate the food to substitute wheat flour. As you know, CNMI, we don't have wheat here. We have to import wheat from mainland. And this is the purpose to receive this grant was to set up a laboratory. The bulk of the money will be used to set up a sophisticated laboratory in CNMI that we do not have in this Pacific region. So we are going to buy the technology that is called green technology, equipment related to green technology like supercritical fluid extraction technology and some analytical instrument to set it up in our laboratory here to analyze the sample, and finally we will diversify the value-added food, herbal medicine and nutraceutical to introduce worldwide from our local CNMI product.
So it's to diversify again. You said the food products, medicinal, herbal medicine.
Herbal medicine.
And
yes.
what was the last thing you mentioned? Was there one more or just those two?
Nutraceutical.
I'm sorry.
Nutraceutical.
What are those?
Like fish oil is one of the nutraceutical health supplement.
Oh, okay.
That is called nutraceutical, and we have huge resources in CNMI. This is tropical region. We have so much huge tropical plant here, and there was almost no study was conducted in terms of scientific study what those plants are containing, what kind of medicine, what kind of nutraceutical and herbal medicines are existing in this CNMI plant. So we are going to extract all the medicinal plant one by one, and we will study some diversification of this plant to use as herbal medicine and a part of herbal medicine as an ingredient of food, like flavonoid, anthocyanin, beta-carotene, carotenoid, natural food flavor. We are going to extract with green technology, and I'm excited to tell you a little bit about green technology. This technology we are using high pressure with only carbon dioxide. We say supercritical fluid extraction method. We are omitting of using any organic solvent, harmful solvent like methanol, acetone, hexane. Those are normally used for the extraction. So those are very health hazardous and environmental harmful chemicals they are using for the processing. So we want to eliminate all the harmful organic solvent, and we want to replace by carbon dioxide, supercritical carbon dioxide and high pressure technology to get our product from CNMI resources.
So do I understand that there aren't that many laboratories like this in the world?
There are few, because this is a new technology, and in Micronesia region and this Pacific region, there is no any laboratory. Even there is no any good analytical laboratory in this region. The most important to set up the laboratory that we can process and analyze our samples of CNMI.
It seems like this is really the first step in building a new industry for us.
Yes, for CNMI and Asia, and CNMI and Pacific region and Micronesia, yes, it is fully new.
Do we have any plans? I know you're just getting started. In fact, we wanted to chat a couple of months ago, and you were like, "Give me some time. I'm just starting my first study." But like long term, do you know if we have any plans to like collaborate with other areas in Micronesia or the Greater Pacific now that we have going to have this fabulous laboratory?
Yes, exactly. We started collaborating with UOZ, and we already, after our press release, I get many contact from other state.
Wow.
They are willing to collaborate with us, and especially our farmers, they are very much excited to receive a food scientist in CNMI. So I'm collaborating with them.
Were you part of the team that got this grant, or did you come on board after the grant?
No, after I come on board, then we received the grant.
What inspired you to apply for this grant? What inspired you about being here in the Marianas?
Yeah, when I joined in NMC CRIS in August 16, 2021, I found that food security an important issue in this island, and in the territory of the USA, including CNMI. An alternative way to preserve local produce of breadfruit, sweet potato, taro, cassava, yam, and other crops. Currently, farmers are producing these crops, and they are, due to lack of knowledge, they are just selling the raw materials. We don't have.
They sell the actual sweet potato, but it's not really processed.
Not processed. And during the harvesting season, all the farmers are harvesting. And then huge product, they don't have the technology to preserve it, so they are rushing to sell it with cheap price. So that make me encouraged to teach them how to preserve and how to process our local product and food crops to fulfill the demand of the CNMI people that are only available in the harvesting season throughout the year. And we can preserve it. Even we can export this to other places when we will have the huge produce. And huge potentiality to find food ingredient, herbals, and nutraceutical from CNMI, natural medicinal plant. That make me encouraged to apply for this research grant, and with the help of our Dean, Patricia Coleman, Interim Dean of CRIS, and our President, Dr. Galvin, helped me to get this grant.
Well, thank you for having that vision of what more, we might be able to do to, number one, help ourselves, as you said, with food security, and then also export.
Yes, also export. Once we have our huge food to purpose our own, to serve our own purpose, own food security, then the remaining to sell to others, part of the United States, or even for some international countries.
When we come back, we're going to dig into the details of what your preliminary study has found. We'll get back to that after this break.
Northern Marianas Humanities Council bula guinahanya puri historian Marianas dan kultura. Sinyon soda esisihanan formasyon gi zon mami website nmhcouncil.org. Pat bisita gi YouTube, pat Facebook. Guajalokwe diferentes clases la blunesinya un fan. Northern Marianas Humanities Council has uzura todo y experiencia tautau.
Welcome back to Your Humanities Half Hour. We're talking today about food science research and economic development in the Marianas with Dr. Zaidul Sarker. He is the state program leader of this food service program at Northern Marianas College. Zaidul, tell us about the results of your preliminary study on breadfruit and tuber crops, which you actually had to conduct in Malaysia because we don't yet have this laboratory. So we're just getting started here. What is this study all about?
In the preliminary study, as I mentioned, that we are procuring the equipment to set up laboratory. We don't have laboratory right now, but we have started our project in February this year. So we don't want to lag behind the objective we want to receive. Those proximate analysis of our local crops, taro, sweet potato, cassava, yam, and breadfruits, I compared the data with the commercial wheat flour that I collected from some bakeries of CNMI.
Okay, compared to commercial wheat flour.
Yes.
Okay.
For the comparison. So then I found that the carbohydrate content in the local produce of breadfruit, sweet potato, taro, yam, and cassava is higher than the wheat flour collected from our local bakeries. This is commercial wheat flour they are using.
So the carbohydrates was higher?
Yes.
Okay.
And
among the local products?
Among the local products.
Okay.
And protein content in wheat flour, the commercial wheat flour, is a bit higher than our local produce.
Slightly higher on the
Slightly
protein
higher,
in the wheat
but,
flour.
Those, in the wheat protein is gluten protein.
Gluten.
Yeah, gluten. That are not desirable by the consumer. People don't want to eat gluten much.
Now, why is that? I know some people are allergic to gluten, but what does it do to our bodies?
We can talk about, this is very big chapter to
Another
talk about.
story?
Yeah, another story.
Okay.
So right now, if you ask people, they are looking for alternative and substitute
That's true.
of wheat because of the existing of gluten. And our breadfruit, taro, sweet potato, cassava, and yam all are non-glutinous. Non-glutinous
Okay.
protein.
Okay.
Then that is the most important thing is there is a dietary fiber. People accept to much eating dietary fiber, and dietary fiber surprisingly in our local produce is much higher than the wheat flour.
How much higher?
In wheat flour it is only 3 to 6% maximum, whereas in breadfruit 14 to 15%.
Okay.
And even our other crops, tuber crops, I studied taro, sweet potato, yam, and cassava, also twice or triple time higher, the dietary fiber higher than the wheat flour. Even though I studied the whole wheat flour, the whole wheat flour.
Whole wheat, yes.
Whole wheat.
Yes.
Even dietary fiber in our local crops is 3 to 4 times higher than the wheat, commercial wheat. And breadfruit even much higher, 5 to 6 times higher than the commercial wheat. And total fat in wheat flour is much higher than the breadfruit and tuber crops of sweet potato, taro, yam, and cassava.
I'm sorry, what was that one?
Fat.
Oh, the fat. Okay.
In wheat flour is higher.
Okay.
And mineral, all the necessary mineral content in our local crops and breadfruits are much higher, significantly higher than wheat flour. That is very important, and this mineral in human body, in human health, mineral is very important. And a part of this, when we do the food processing, like next, after preliminary study, we are going to study some rheological properties like viscosity, viscoelasticity, food texture, mouth feeling, and dough properties, dough characteristics.
Dough, for making dough.
Yeah,
okay.
making dough. Those minerals have great influence to make the good product.
Yeah.
Good food product. That is, surprisingly, the mineral content is significantly higher than the wheat flour. All the minerals, like you say calcium, magnesium, zinc, manganese, phosphorus, all are higher.
Significantly higher
than the
local.
wheat flour. Our local product is
are higher
than the commercial wheat. And then I also studied whether is there any heavy metal or toxic element in our local product, and I found it's very negligible. It's not below, and it is below the tolerance level. So all our exciting data started in the starting. I got it, and it is expected that mixtures of breadfruit, sweet potato, taro, cassava, and yam flour from locally grown crops in CNMI have the potential to replace wheat flour and diversify the uses of local product to produce low gluten or no gluten or gluten-free, you can say gluten-free, value-added food product.
What about, have you started any tests yet on the herbal medicine?
Yes, I started extraction of noni, samples, noni leaf, noni fruit, noni seed. I extracted and tested some bioactivity on it. Now the study is not complete yet, it's still ongoing. We need to test the cytotoxicity or any whether noni products are toxic for health or no. If it is toxic, then how much the toxicity level? I need to test all this, but it is not done yet. We are ongoing. And I found there are some noni-based industry, a small industry in Saipan. They are selling noni product, and I bought the sample from them. And they did not mention any nutrition fact on the packet. In the packaging.
Yes.
And then I asked them because they said they do not know any nutrition fact there.
Yeah,
but
nutrition
unfortunately
facts.
they are selling it.
Yeah.
So I'm starting all this. Hopefully in next month, end of next month, I can tell you in details about noni product.
Yeah.
I just started with noni, and then I will do other herbal product in our laboratory here. This noni sample I'm still studying in Malaysia.
Okay. I'm not trying to make more work for you, but I have a question.
Okay.
In your studies, do you think it might include also looking at how, for example, noni has been used in the traditional culture here for medicine?
Yes.
And because I know like there's one application my uncle told me about when I had a swollen knee, he was like, take the leaf, coat it with coconut oil, and then heat it over the fire and apply it to your knee, and it will reduce swelling. Like, is that something you're going to be looking into?
This is traditional uses, but I can tell you there is no study on it. Scientific study. So I'm going to study what kind of bioactivity. The question you asked me, that is called bioactivity or biomarker. I'm studying already, and I want to look through on it what kind of bioactive compound is there that can help this kind of disease. And there is a huge claim that noni has anti-diabetic compound.
Yeah.
And I have extracted noni and tested anti-diabetic. There is existing of anti-diabetic compound. As I said,
you have preliminary study.
Preliminary study.
Anti-diabetic compound.
In vitro study says that it has huge anti-diabetic compound.
Yeah.
And it might have anti-cancer compound also.
I've read that also.
Yes, the study is ongoing.
How did you feel at the end of the preliminary study with the flower when you found, I guess that was kind of your hypothesis, that you thought that the local crops were going to be so much better. And even with the noni, and you're finding out you're able to start documenting all the value and the benefits of these local products. How does that make you feel?
As I said, I really excited. I feel maybe the soil of CNMI is very fertile, and that all the properties, like mineral content, and vitamins, dietary fiber, are higher than the other crops grown in other part. I have not studied other crops from other countries, but I can see the published data. Mm-hmm. The CNMI product have a high mineral content.
So the advantages of these crops are even higher in the CNMI than the similar crops around the world, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and those total dietary fiber, I wanted to say.
Oh.
Total dietary fiber is much higher than any other crops
that have been
studied so far.
So what are our next steps? Where do we go from here?
The next step will be to optimize the blending of ratios of breadfruit, sweet potato, taro, cassava, and yam flour with wheat flour and without wheat flour. and try to compare the physico-chemical properties, that is called rheological properties.
I'm sorry, what was that? What properties?
Rheological properties mean viscosity, viscoelasticity, food textural study, texture analysis, stress relaxation, dough characteristics, all this called rheological properties.
But you forgot the most important test, which is the taste test.
Yeah, sensory evaluation, yes. There will be.
We're going to have to use this flour for a taste test.
Yeah, that I'm going to say. And we also will analyze the textural properties, including stress relaxation and dough characteristics, then the mouth feeling, chewiness, gumminess, and also shelf life. And as you said, sensory evaluation.
They should have put that first, because this is not going to work unless it tastes good. Zaidul, I really want to thank you for your time and for the work that you're doing. Obviously, we're going to have you back again, I'm sure, in the future for some more findings. Any final thoughts before we go?
Thank you very much, Catherine, for asking me to come here and for inviting me. Hope you will invite me again. And what I wanted to say again, to repeat, that nutraceutical and herbal medicinal processing using green method without using any organic harmful solvent. We are applying our green method to retain the quality 100% from the sources. And we have, for this we have procured sophisticated equipment for supercritical fluid extraction machine, and also gas chromatography, mass spectrometry, triple, quadruple. We say that is very scientific term.
Yes, it is.
DC,
I saw that in your writing, and it just went.
DQ.
I'm glad you're in charge.
LCMS, Q-top. Those are most sophisticated equipment to study precisely, scientifically, precisely, quantitatively, and qualitatively. So this my thought that one aspect of research focuses on diversifying the uses and supplementation of imported wheat flour in the value-added bakery product using breadfruit, sweet potato, taro, cassava, yam from locally grown CNMI for the investment of nutritional value in the food and nutraceuticals. And at the end, I would say I'm really very grateful to our NMC President, Dr. Galvin De Leon Guerrero, and NMC Chris Interim Dean Patricia Coman, who are really assisting me to establish this big challenge to establish this sophisticated lab for the food and plant of CNMI to process to make it value-added nutraceutical and value-added food. And again, I wanted to extend my appreciation to USDA, NIFA, National Institute of Food and Agriculture, for their funding to establish our laboratory, and our NMC Chris team. Those are assisting me and encouraging me. In the beginning, I said people are very friendly here, and especially thanks to one of my younger here, JC De Leon Guerrero. Every time, JC, I'm new here, can you please help? And he is ready to help me. So finally, I would like to thanks to our local bakery who provided me the wheat flour, and numerous farmers in Rota who donated me sample, especially Mr. MB and Mr. Thomas Song Song from Rota. That's
Very
all
nice.
for today. Let's talk again. Thank you very much, Catherine.
Thank you to Zaidul. Our guest today has been Dr. Zaidul Sarker. He is the state program leader of the food services program at Northern Marianas College, conducting food science research for food sustainability and economic development here in the Marianas. This has been Your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry.
Your Humanities Half Hour is a production of the Northern Marianas Humanities Council, funded in part by the National Endowment for the Humanities. Any views, findings, or recommendations expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily represent those of the National Endowment for the Humanities or the Northern Marianas Humanities Council.